there, friends. I hope you're doing well. I'm Laura, aka Weird Barbie, and today we're talking about Final Fantasy XIV, a game that's more than just an MMO. It's a calm, creative world that somehow manages to make space for every kind of player and for every kind of brain. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the chaos of online games, or like MMOs move too fast for you to enjoy, this game might be for you. Before we get into it, if you enjoy cozy MMO content, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. I'm on the hunt for 1,000 subs, and every bit of support helps. With that out of the way, grab a tea, your favorite hoodie, and let's dive in. One of the things Final Fantasy XIV is most famous for is its story. It's sprawling, emotional, and genuinely written like a Final Fantasy single-player game. It's not just an excuse to run dungeons. When I log in, it doesn't feel like starting a game. It feels like stepping into a familiar world that's waiting for me. It's calm, slow, and welcoming. The music is gentle, the lighting and weather shifts softly throughout the day, and the pacing feels relaxed and chill. Some evenings I'll just wander through Twelve's Wood, fish along Limsa's docks, or stand in Ishgard watching snowflakes drift. I'm not chasing achievements, I'm just happily existing. For my autistic ADHD brain, the game's rhythm and predictability are grounding. The game never rushes me. It just lets me exist on my own terms with gentle suggestions about what to do next. It provides just enough structure so I never feel aimless. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV off and on for a few years now, and I have to be honest, it starts slow. Like, really slow. The early story is long and handholdy, with lots of simple fetch quests and exposition. But around level 30, it really opens up, and suddenly you realize that slow build had a purpose. It reveals the world and systems in a structured, methodical way that can be boring to veteran MMO players. However, if you've never played an MMO before, it would be the perfect introduction to the genre. At that level 30 mark, the combat really starts to click as well. Ability rotations and combos start to feel more satisfying and intuitive as you build muscle memory for the hotkeys. The story deepens and the world really opens up. The game's slow introduction gives you time to breathe, to learn, and to settle in. And when the adventure finally expands, it feels earned, like you've grown into it. Now let's talk about the gameplay, the part that keeps me coming back long after the cutscenes are over. Final Fantasy XIV's combat is structured and rhythmic, and that rhythm scratches my brain in just the right way. It's not a twitchy, reaction-based combat system like you'd find in an action MMO. It's more about patterns, timing, and flow. Once you learn your job's rotation, it almost feels meditative. Another of my favorite things about the game is how much freedom it gives you to play your own way. You don't need to create multiple characters. You can level every job on a single one. You just change your weapon or job stone and boom! New role, new abilities, new storylines to explore. One day I'm slinging arrows as an archer or singing songs as a bard. The next I'm cooking as a culinarian or mining crystals in the deserts of Thanalan. For AuDHD players like me, that flexibility is a blessing. You can follow your hyperfixations freely and swap jobs at will so you never feel like you're missing out or that the game is railroading you down a set path. When I want a break from combat, questing, and the crafter-gatherer grind, I head to my happy place, the Gold Saucer. It's this colorful amusement park full of minigames, fashion contests, and timed events. But my biggest time sink? Chocobo racing. You can raise and breed a racing chocobo, totally separate from your regular mount, and you can train them to compete in races. You improve their stats by feeding them special foods, breed them to achieve better genetics, and as a horse girl at heart, it scratches the same itch as games like Gallop Racer and Winner's Circle. Meanwhile, your mount chocobo, your trusty travel companion, is just as fun to interact with. They're your first mount in-game and can also join you in battle. You can train them to heal, tank, or deal damage depending on your playstyle. Your mount being more than just transportation is such a unique feature in this game and adds a fun layer of flexibility and complexity to the combat and gameplay. I am largely a solo adventurer and love having a buddy around to back me up as I play. Likewise, if you're like me and don't feel like partying up with strangers to run dungeons, you can run them solo with NPC allies. No pressure, no anxiety, no chaos, just quiet, comfortable progress. I only party with real players once I've run a dungeon enough to feel comfortable with the mechanics, and I love that the game facilitates this. Another thing that makes Final Fantasy XIV special is how many side systems and mini-games are baked into it. It's like every time I think I've seen everything, I stumble into a whole new game system. There's the Grand Company Squadron system where you recruit NPC soldiers, train them, and send them on missions. It's a fun little management sim that I've admittedly spent way too much energy fussing over. Then you've got retainer ventures, treasure maps, combat gathering and crafting logs, player housing and gardening, island sanctuaries, and of course all the minigames at the Gold Saucer. Each system has its own rhythm and reward, and for neurodivergent players, the variety they provide is golden. There's always something new to hyper-focus on, and the best part? You can walk away from one thing and come back to it days or weeks later with no punishment. It's a game that respects your time spent and your attention span. Now let's talk about jumping puzzles, because the devs love putting these in random places for you to find. Some of them are part of events, like the Gold Saucer's jump puzzles, and others are just quietly hidden out in the world, waiting for you to stumble upon them. As someone who struggles with coordination, they can be both hilarious and maddening, but they also give me that perfect mix of challenge and satisfaction. It's such a small thing, but it's a great example of how the game constantly gives you these little dopamine bursts outside of combat. And speaking of dopamine bursts, exploration in this game is genuinely rewarding. There are whole sets of achievements tied to exploration, finding every zone's hidden aether currents to unlock flying there, uncovering secret sightseeing vistas, or just fully mapping a region for that satisfying completion chime. Each new area feels like its own little puzzle box, filled with secrets, challenges, and tiny stories told through the environment. For me, that slow process of uncovering every corner of the map scratches the same itch as organizing a collection or completing a cozy routine. It's calm, deliberate exploration that feeds my need for discovery, and that's a rare balance for an MMO to hit. The Final Fantasy XIV community has a reputation for being one of the kindest and most inclusive in gaming, and in my experience, that's entirely true. The social culture here feels softer and slower. Players are generally patient with newcomers, especially since the game's story and tutorials emphasize kindness and cooperation. I've met so many players who genuinely want to help, not just gatekeep. Alright, let's be real. The true endgame of any MMO is fashion, so that's what we're going to talk about next. Final Fantasy XIV's glamour system allows for endless creativity. You can dye armor pieces, craft unique looks, and save your favorite styles in a dresser. These glamours apply over your gear, so you never have to sacrifice looking cute to be effective in battle. For ADHD players, it's a perfect source of self-expressive satisfaction. Do a dungeon, get a cool new piece, put together a new outfit, and feel like a whole new person. It's cozy, expressive, and highly personal. Moving on to the cash shop, it's surprisingly fair. Everything there is optional, cosmetic, and well priced. If you're a seasoned player looking to skip the starter stuff and dive right into endgame, you can also purchase a level boost. Overall, the game never feels pay to win or like the devs designed frustrating gameplay features on purpose just to sell you the fix, and that's rare in MMOs these days. Moving on, I really appreciate how Final Fantasy XIV lets you manage sensory input. You can turn down visual effects, adjust sounds, or pick peaceful areas to decompress. Some zones just feel like safe sensory spaces. Gridania's quiet forests, Shirogane's gentle waves, or Ilmeg's dreamy landscapes. And the music? Soken's sound design and Uematsu's themes are incredible. They're dynamic, emotional, and calming. Sometimes I leave the game open to listen to the music while I focus on projects or try and decompress from a stressful day. It's more than background music, it's like a mood regulation tool. Besides the music, what keeps me coming back to the game isn't the grind, it's the gentle progress. You can dungeon dive, craft, decorate, fish, explore, just wander around, and it all counts as progress. That flexibility is everything for players like me. Some days I'm hyper focused and running main story content like crazy. Other days I just want to vibe in the gold saucer and race my chocobo. Both states of play feel valid. It's an MMO that meets you exactly where you are on any given day, whether you're overly energetic, anxious, distracted, or just wanting to chill. At its core, the game feels like an MMO made with empathy. It's not perfect. The start is slow, and sometimes the sheer number of systems can feel overwhelming, but it's also one of the few games that makes me feel safe while still being stimulating and rewarding. Whether I'm running dungeons solo, breeding chocobos, relaxing in the gold saucer, or just fishing in Limsa listening to the rain, this game always feels like a place I can exist freely without pressure. So, if you've ever felt like MMOs are too chaotic or competitive for you to enjoy, Final Fantasy XIV might be the cozy, slow-paced world you've been looking for. It lets you stim, explore, hyper-focus, or just be still. If you're a current player, what class do you play? Which dungeon is your favorite? What are your favorite aspects of the game? Let me know down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to help me reach 1,000 subs. Your support means the world and helps me keep making these cozy, neurodivergent friendly MMO videos. That's all from me today, guys, and until next time, stay weird, stay cozy, and keep leveling.